So you want to reach financial freedom? Or how about time freedom? Both can go hand in hand, but trading your time for money won't get you there. There's only one way to reach this goal, and that's being an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur who's a single-member entity means that you run everything yourself. There are countless advantages to this kind of business model, and thanks to the web, it's now more feasible for more people than ever before. The notion of running an entire empire single-handed would have seemed like an impossible pipe dream not too long ago. Today though, this is what more and more people are living as their reality. The internet is such a powerful force multiplier that it allows many people to truly become digital polymaths. There are also many challenges to this career path. While the entrepreneur lifestyle is liberating in many ways, it can also be extremely difficult. That's because it requires you to wear a lot of hats and to take full responsibility for every aspect of your business. Even if you are simply running a blog and selling affiliate products, this can be a surprisingly exhausting lifestyle. Suddenly, there is no employer. There is nobody who is going to take responsibility for your business. There is no one to blame if things go wrong but you. That's why it's important to have the right mindset going in. This next video will get you on the right path to having that mindset.
3 ways to get your emotions under control. Do you rule your emotions, or do your emotions rule you? Many of us feel instinctively that our emotions come from the way we feel. You've had a hard day, and so now you are thinking bad thoughts. Those bad thoughts are then making you feel unhappy. But have you ever thought that the opposite might be true? That you might be having bad thoughts because you are in a bad mood? That maybe this is what made your day bad. Either way, being able to control your emotions is crucial if you want to be as effective as you can be, maintain the respect of others, and generally perform your very best. In this presentation, we'll look at 3 ways you can get your emotions under your control. 1. Consider your physiology. Many of us think that emotions come from our psychology. Very often, though, they can also come from our physiology. That is to say that our emotions are dictated by the things that are going on in our bodies. For instance, if you are in a bad mood, then it could be because you're low on blood sugar. Our bodies use high blood sugar as a signal to create feel-good hormones. When it drops, we produce cortisol, which makes us anxious and hangry. You might be tired too, or perhaps your emotions could be getting in the way. Either way, you need to consider the role of your physiology as well as the role of your mind. 2. Control your thoughts. That said, controlling your thoughts is also important. Techniques used in CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, teach us to challenge negative thoughts and to even test our unhelpful beliefs. This means first identifying the things we think and the things that are causing our bad state of mind, and then asking whether those thoughts are true or useful. 3. Meditate. There are countless good reasons to meditate. One of the most important, though, is that meditation can improve your emotional control, your focus, and your discipline. This is literally a process that involves focusing your mind and avoiding distracting thoughts. And if you can do that, then you can avoid distracting emotions as well. In the short term, a bout of meditation is a great way to calm your racing mind. In the long term, it is a powerful tool for enhancing your emotional stability. 5 surprising ways the mind influences the body, and vice versa. It is a mistake to think of our mind and body as separate entities. The reality is that we are holistic machines, and that no aspect of our psychology, physiology, or biology can exist independently of the rest. Your mood is tied to your physiology, and your physiology is tied to your mood. This is part of what makes the mind so powerful. It controls not only our thoughts, but also our body. Here are some surprising examples. 1. Your mind can boost your immune system. If you are positive, jolly, and surrounded by people who love you, then you are actually more likely to overcome illnesses. It turns out that stress suppresses the immune system, whereas happiness hormones can reinforce it. 2. Stress changes your children. Stress changes your biology in many ways. It can even change the way that certain genes are expressed, and that means you can pass those changes on to your children. Surprisingly, if you are very stressed when you conceive, your children are actually less likely to be stressed in life. 3. You don't digest food properly. Stress causes a range of conditions, such as psoriasis. But did you know it also prevents you from properly digesting your food? This can actually lead to malnutrition, even if you are eating properly. 4. Your gut changes your mood. So your mood changes the way your gut behaves. But did you know that this relationship is a two-way street? You see, your gut contains nearly as many neurons as your brain, and the tiny bacteria that live there actually produce neurotransmitters that can affect your mood. This is why the gut is sometimes referred to as the second brain. 5. Embodied Cognition. Embodied cognition is a recent theory in psychology that better explains the close link between the body and the brain. Previously, it was thought that the brain had its own internal language. This was sometimes referred to as mentalese. The idea was that whenever someone said something to you, your brain would translate that into mentalese so that you could understand it. But now it is thought that the way the brain understands things is by visualizing those things. And that happens by lighting up areas in the brain as though you were doing those things. So if I told you about a walk I took through the woods, you might visualize yourself walking through the woods. Perhaps feel the wind on your neck and the leaves crunching underfoot. The brain doesn't work without the body, and vice versa. 5 tricks to eliminate procrastination and maintain focus. Getting what you want out of life often comes down to something very simple: sustained effort. Will Smith says that what sets him apart from the competition is his willingness to stay on the treadmill until he collapses. He will go the extra mile. You hear similar stories in every other industry and among every other highly successful and driven individual. You want to win. You need to put in the work. And that means you can't be getting distracted. So in this presentation, let's explore 5 quick tricks you can use to procrastinate less. 1. Do the fun task first. Many of us think the first task of the day should be the biggest and the hardest. With that out of the way, we can then focus on other matters. Except that is then a barrier that will put you off starting at all. It's better to get a quick win under your belt to put yourself in the right state of mind. And that means starting with something easy. 2. Leave work incomplete. This might go against every natural inclination, but before you lock up the office tonight, start some work and leave it incomplete. Why? Because the human brain hates a lack of closure. This makes it much easier to pick up and go first thing tomorrow. 3. Visualize why. It's easy to find the things we need to do boring and uninspiring. Why? Because we only want the prize at the end. We don't want to do the work in between. The key is to tap into the enthusiasm you have for the destination and to use that to motivate you on your journey. Picture why you are doing this. Feel it emotionally, and then you will be driven. 4. Rest. If you want to be as effective as possible during working hours, you need to rest during your time off. Sustained attention requires a lot of energy, and that runs out after a while. Give yourself some time to recoup and to do the things you want to do. 5. Music on repeat. Listen to the same musical tracks on repeat on headphones. Eventually, the brain becomes desensitized to hearing the same track play over and over, and thus tunes out. This makes it effectively like more entertaining white noise. It's like sensory deprivation, meaning you have an entire sense less to distract you.
Thank you for watching. Part 2 of this video will be coming soon.